Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, Harley Davidson XL 883 Hugger. Just about the most basic Harley Sportster they ever made. And this will be the next project. So let's get it on the other lift, let's get it jacked up and take a close look round it. Okay, that's got it parked for the duration. I just want to make it clear this is not a limited edition bike, it's an anniversary edition, I'm sure you know that. There's nothing other than the livery that's different. You just get this black and silver paintwork and these unique badges for 2003. Other than that, it's a standard 883 Hugger like any other. This particular year they didn't do bigger engines or anything or any other performance upgrades. It's just a paint job to celebrate their 100th anniversary, and I'm not bothered about that. It doesn't make it worth any more money. Anyway, this particular bike, the reason I chose it is that it's painfully standard, painfully honest, and that's what I love about it. It's got just a few little accessories. It's got a seat cover, nice leather seat cover somebody's made for it. It is homemade, I can see that. Also, it's got a Screaming Eagle air filter, a washable filter, that's just common sense, and it's got these snazzy chrome grips, which I think are heated. Anyway, that's it. Other than that, it's a standard bike. Now, I'm going to be putting a lot of money and investment into this bike, and I want to make sure it's worth it. So first, before I do anything else, I'm going to go around the whole bike today and make sure that everything I think it is, it actually is. And you can do that. Have a close-up forensic examination of the bike, looking at all of the little wear and tear marks on it to make sure that they're correct and genuine and there's nothing suspicious or shifty. And I think the right place to start is with the lifeblood of the engine. Let's drop the oil and see what it looks like first. Now when you drain your oil, pull the cap off first so it prevents a vapour lock, because if air can't get in then oil can't easily drain out. You know that. All right, now this is a little bit of a Dr. Ruth test, if you like. You're testing to see if there's anything in the oil that can tell you anything about the health of the engine. And there's nothing there untoward. There's no sparkly bits, no gold bits, no silvery bits, nothing. I'm really happy with that. Also, when you grab hold of a wipe of it hard between your fingers, you can't grind it away, you can't rub it out. It's just slimy and it stays that way no matter how much you rub it, and that's good. It shows it's reasonably new oil. It's only been in there a while. The big concern with bikes like that have done not much mileage is that the owner may possibly have been deferring to the mileage. Service mileage on that, 5,000 miles between oil changes. So 800 miles a year average, that could be 6 years old, that oil. That's not uncommon. So in my case, that's definitely not. That's not been in there very long. It's nice, good, healthy oil. It's not going back in, obviously, because the engine's coming apart. But that oil tells me there's nothing to worry about inside the motor. So that's that test passed. Let's drain the fuel out, because I definitely ain't going to need that. Right, unlike the oil, the petrol doesn't tell you anything about the bike, but you'll certainly know if it's stale. Petrol, as you saw coming through the tube there, it's clear when you get it in a thin plastic tube. Almost completely clear. But if it's gone yellow, like a stale lager, then that's definitely not usable. So if the bike's been laid up for a while, it's a good way to test whether you can use it or not. Just look at the colour of it. And if you're like me, a bit of a weirdo, and you actually like the smell of petrol, then you'll know when it's off as well. Because stale petrol, that's truly vile. It stinks like an acid smell. It's really acrid and horrible. But that stuff was as fresh as a daisy, so I'm going to put that in the Goldwing and make good use of it. But if it is gone stale, then you must get rid of that petrol exactly the same way you get rid of your waste oils, in a safe and environmentally friendly manner. But you do that already, obviously. Anyway, that's the liquids out of the way. Let's take the battery off now, the seat off, and a few other bits and pieces we don't need and won't need either in the future. Well, definitely the factory seat base, that's for sure. That's all as it left the factory. And there's staples and they're rusty, so they've been in there a long time. But the cover is leather, and someone knows their stitchcraft. They really do. This has got about 12 leather panels, and it's a lovely old-fashioned hard leather that has then been made supple by polishing. It all sort of smells of leather food. So, nice piece of work from someone in its lifetime. I wonder. Yep. Metric. 14 mil, metric again. Right, okay, a fantastic day. And the verdict is this is definitely a genuine bike. Absolutely guaranteed. That's a 10-year-old back tyre. Look at the date stamp, 2611. That's midsummer 2011. It's an 11-year-old rear tyre. The front tyre though, 1303. That's the original factory tyre. That's what it left Milwaukee with. Fantastic. So that means that 14,000 miles on the clock, and in the history bears out on the front tyre as well. It's not quite worn out yet. It is cracked and perished and dangerous now, but the tread still has wear in it. So 14,000 miles for a front tyre, one of them front tyres, which doesn't wear, then yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a 14,000 mile bike. Very happy with that indeed. Nearly 20 years old. Awesome. Now, I'm going to spend some money on this project, and before I go spending money on cycle parts, on bodyworks, maybe fabricating bodywork, putting time and effort into that, I'm going to deal with the wheels. I've obviously got to change the tyres. Before I spend money on any of that, I want to know the engine is sound, and it's an 883, and there's an opportunity to make it a 1200 or even a 1250 or even a 1270 with hooligan cams. There's all sorts of options out there. I just need to know I can afford it. So before I go any further, I'm going to get the top end off and see what it's like in there. So see you next time, and we'll have a look.